So, there once was this little chap named Achilles, and let me tell you, this kiddo was a handful. Now, when most 3-year-olds were mastering the art of not tripping over their own feet, our young Achilles decided to wrestle a bear cub. Yes, you heard it right, a bear cub. Picture a scene, if you will, where most tots would be playing with wooden swords. This young lad was grappling with a bear cub. Now, this wasn't your everyday play date. This was a full-fledged, fur-flying, bear-hugging wrestling match. And the most astonishing part, Achilles seemed to be having the time of his life. This wasn't a child's reckless folly, oh no. This was a display of unusual strength and fearlessness that left the onlookers stunned. It was clear from that moment that Achilles was no ordinary child. So, after that little bear wrestling incident, Achilles became the talk of the town. Who could blame them, right? Now, it wasn't all bear wrestling and fun for our little hero. He had some serious training to do. You see, Achilles was sent to train with Chiron, the Centaur. Yes, you heard it right, a half-human, half-horse was his mentor. Now, if you're wondering about the practicality of this, you're not alone. It's no easy task to keep up with a creature that can gallop at full speed while teaching you the art of war. And that's not even mentioning the issue of, well, bathroom breaks. But Achilles, ever the eager student, took it all in stride, literally. He spent his days running through the forests, training with weapons, and learning the ways of the world from the wise Chiron. One day, Achilles decided to challenge Chiron to a race. Now, keep in mind that Achilles had no idea about the difference between two-legged and four-legged speed. He was confident in his swift feet, but he didn't account for the fact that his teacher had an extra pair of hooves. The race began. Achilles took off like a shot, his heart pounding in his chest. Chiron, on the other hand, gave a horse-like chuckle and started at a leisurely canter, allowing Achilles to gain some distance. It wasn't long before Achilles realized his mistake. He glanced over his shoulder and saw Chiron closing the gap, his 4 legs moving in a graceful gallop. Achilles pushed himself harder, but it was to no avail. Chiron passed him with ease, crossing the finish line while Achilles was still huffing and puffing halfway down the track. Achilles was humbled that day. He learned that there was more to being a hero than just strength and speed. It's about knowing your limitations and understanding the strengths of others. And above all, it's about never underestimating your teacher, especially if he happens to be a centaur. So, our young hero learned a valuable lesson that day. When racing a centaur, always remember they have extra horsepower. So, what do you get when you mix up a bear wrestling centaur racing kid with a dash of prophecy? The answer? A childhood that would make even the most adventurous among us look like a house cat. Now, when a prophecy tells you that your kid is destined for greatness, it's bound to add a little spice to the parenting game. For Achilles, it wasn't just about eating his greens and finishing his homework. Oh no, it was about preparing for a destiny written in the stars. Imagine the pressure, the expectations. Every time he tripped over a rock, did his parents think, uh-oh, is this the end of the prophecy? Or when he won his first wrestling match against a bear cub, did they say, well, of course, he's our little prophecy boy. But our Achilles, he took it all in stride. You see, he wasn't just any ordinary kid. He was the equivalent of that one kid at school who could play 3 sports, ace all his classes, and still have time to form a band. He wore his prophecy like a badge of honor, always ready to meet the next challenge head-on. His confidence was as impressive as his physical prowess. He'd stride into a room and you'd think, well, there's the prophecy boy, ready to save the world or something. He bore the weight of his prophecy not as a burden, but as a calling, a purpose that he was born to fulfill. He wrestled bears, raced centaurs, and did all sorts of heroic stuff before he even hit puberty. He was a kid who was always ready for the next challenge, always eager to prove his worth, always striving to live up to his destiny. He was the personification of the saying, pressure makes diamonds. And so, our bear wrestling, centaur racing, prophecy-destined child grew up to be a legendary hero. But here's a thought. Do you think Achilles' childhood made him the hero he became, or was he always destined to be that way?